Most people chase results. That's why they end up burning out, quitting early, and being disappointed. But real success starts with one shift, and it has nothing to do with outcomes. Hey everyone, Tej here, and today I'll be talking about a small mindset shift I've made recently that's really impacted my life in a positive way, and that's the concept of inputs and outputs. Then at the end of the video, we're going to rearrange that equation like PEMDAS and make it inputs equals outputs. Almost always we use the outcome to measure our goals. This ends up becoming a simple yes or no. If we met said outcome, that's a success, and if we did not meet outcome, that's a failure. But what if we looked at this differently? What if we focused on our inputs rather than our outputs? The way I define inputs are that these are things that we do on a daily basis that we can control. So think of things such as hitting the gym, eating healthy, meditating, journaling. These are specific things that we can focus on. Let's do a common example like losing weight. Let's say there's this dude, let's call him Gregory, all right? It's the first name I thought of, don't ask questions. And Gregory wants that summer beach bod. He heard it's hot boy summer and he just wants to look good on the beach. So he sets a 3-month goal. From April 1st to July 1st, he wants to lose a pound a week. And that's basically 13 weeks, 13 pounds, simple enough. Let's say over the next 3 months, Gregory stays pretty consistent with his gym and diet. July 1st comes around, he's feeling excited, he checks the scale, he's only down 8 pounds. Safe to say, bro's pretty disappointed. But if Greg focused on his inputs, he could see that he stuck to his diet and went to the gym consistently 70 to 80% of the time. And he knows it's not perfect, but he can look at that version of himself 3 months ago and be really proud of him. And on top of that, he sees considerable change in the mirror and how he feels on a daily basis. Another example, and not a fake one this time, this one's actually relevant to my actual life, and that's some friends that I have that study for exams. They just happen to be in a field where they have to take exams to grow professionally and make more money. The thing is that these exams are not easy by any means. The thing I always tell them is that the one thing that they can control is the amount of work that they put in. Let's say they're planning to study 15 hours a week on top of their full-time job and other adult obligations. But they're able to consistently stick to this plan in the weeks and months leading up to the exam. Then they go ahead, take the exam, but don't pass. This can be super disappointing, especially if they were just on the cusp of passing. But at the end of the day, they gave it their all. And I strongly believe that if you give it your all in anything, you can always live with the results. You won't look back and say you wish you studied more because you met the study plan. At the end of the day, you executed. And there's many examples of this. You can't always control whether or not you got the promotion, but you can control the amount of effort you put in that work. These are simple examples, but this works for larger goals as well. We can break it down into a 3-step process. Step 1, define the key inputs needed. Firstly, you gotta break that shit down. Break down that large goal into various different inputs. Say if you want to land your dream job in 5 years. The first thing you probably want to do is get a job that's relevant in that field, even if it's a couple steps below your dream job. Next, you want to work on your skills. These can be communication, leadership, teamwork, anything that's relevant to your job, and this will be the hardest part of getting that dream job. Step 2, you have to track your progress towards that goal. What's not measured is not managed. Some smart dude said that. But it's really true. If you don't have a system to measure your progress towards your goals, you can get lost on where you actually are. Step 3, detach from the outcome. Your mood shouldn't rise and fall with every win or loss. When you detach from the outcome, you give yourself the ability to gain stability and peace, knowing that you did everything you can. And after all that, shout out Kat.
It's crazy because after all that,
we can rearrange the equation to make it inputs equals outputs. There's no better feeling than consistently hitting your goals. You can see all the work that you're putting in is finally paying off. That's when you can start pushing back the goalposts, creating even larger goals for yourself, and soon enough you'll be on the hedonic treadmill. But we could save that for another video. What I'll leave you with is that the outcome's never promised. What you can control is the amount of effort that you put in every day. What you can't control are your inputs.